Okay, let's see. Hello? Let's see. Huh? Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's get all this back. All right. Welcome back to Long Winded. I just got back from New York last night and I was feeling inspired. I think my meds are working. And really, that's it. And I think that is a powerful statement, and it is what it is. And it happens when it happens, and when it happens, it's good. It doesn't happen all the time. I've been on a lot of meds that haven't worked actually, but I'm getting used to mine. And I was like, thought it was affecting my sleep, but in New York, I was staying at the Ace in Brooklyn, so cute. But it was literally on top of the train station, so you could like hear the all of the noises that come with it, which is literally wild. I don't know if that's a selling point or not. Whatever, there's not a lot of space there, as we know. And yeah, it kind of like kept me up, but then I would start playing white noise on my phone. I'm like, oh my God, maybe this will do instead of a trazodone, a Trazzy. I'll be a little less groggy in the morning. I tried it last night and it just like, if you're having trouble sleeping, I've been trying to do the all natural. I've been on the concentrated cherry juice. I don't know what the fuck is in that, but it makes me feel so crazy the next day. I think it just turns into melatonin. So, like, what's the point? And when it says concentrated, it means so concentrated. Oh, but anyways, I just woke up and um, I just had like I changed, thank God, because I was wearing that godforsaken Dancing with the Stars tour t-shirt, which mind you I co-hosted, and my face is nowhere to be found on the shirt, but it's still one of my favorite shirts. And then I have on your favorite glasses, because who cares? Um, I did put on a lamp tent, lamp lamp tent. People are probably so over like hearing about it, but I'm not. I think it like went through a phase and I feel like the phase should be back. I love the lip tint. It's too dark for me right now. I have no other makeup on. I put a gloss, so I can understand if I do look crazy, but I just had to get it in because I have to pick up Robbie from the airport. I'm always picking her up. I love her to death. Uh, and our 1 year anniversary is coming up, and I'm about to start my period. So I can't stop thinking about it. And today on the walk, my morning walk with Nardo, speaking of, where the fuck is he? He doesn't care about me. He's so tired. Um, it's like when he is like right on me, annoying. When he's not with me, annoying. Oh, here he is. He's going to the bed. I'll go fuck myself. But she is always asking for rides to and from the airport, which I do understand. Like, you want to do that for your partner. It makes you feel good. She's like, I just want to soak up all the time. I'm like, you just don't want to take an Uber. This isn't about me, but it's fine. I understand. Like, if I don't have a lot going on, I will take her. So I'm going to pick her up, but it's like sometimes an hour. At least it's Sunday today, but sometimes it's an hour each way. I'm like, damn. But I'm really in my feels because we're coming up on 1 year. Oh, here he is. Hi, Sonardo. He's so cute. He is so cute. Okay, come on. Come on. He was at his Auntie Debbie's while I was in New York. He loves it there. So he's kind of tired. Thank God. He's so much cuter when he sleeps. But yeah, I was thinking about our 1 year and I literally started crying. It could be a combination of the meds working, my period, and missing her. But yeah, I can't believe it. I'm on a sunglasses kick, so I did just get another pair, and I'm gonna warn you, you're not gonna like them. You're not gonna like them, because it took a while for people to get used to these. People were calling me Dog the Bounty Hunter online, which, like, say less. And then I went on this bachelorette, and people were calling me a cigarette mom. Also, say less. Goals. Because I feel like that is something I can identify with. It's like the This Is 40 scene when Leslie Mann is sneaking cigs out the window. I'm like, you bet your ass. If I had kids, obviously you need a pack a day. You completely lose your identity. You're literally an Uber driver with all of their extracurriculars, mind you. My manager, his kid is 2. His preschool is $24,000. He's 2. It is the price of kids these days is astronomical. Naturally, I would need a quick, fast nicotine buzz to get me through. They do say nicotine prevents cancer, but obviously I think we should bring back Nicorette. I don't know if it ever went anywhere, but I remember listening to this one podcast of this guy who's like a doctor or something, or maybe a writer, and he's like, I chew on some Nicorette. It's like a stimulant, and it does like the nicotinamide in the brain. People, you can get NAD, which I was getting honestly for a while, but I don't know if it's actually helping me anymore, so I stopped. But that's the whole thing. The Biebers do it. Your amount of nicotinamide. What if I just made up that word? Anyways, who the fuck cares? It goes down as you get older, so when you get older, you can replenish it. Back to being a cigarette mom. I think it's such a compliment, and I do have news for you guys. I'm not proud of it. I've ripped some cigs in my life. I've ripped some heaters. I have a checkered past. I do. I grew up in the Midwest. I feel like that itself should explain a lot. Like, I grew up outside of St. Louis, and then I went to college in Colorado. I know it's so confusing. Whoa. I lived in more than one place. Whoa. People are like, where are you from? I'm like, I don't have a home. I was raised by wolves. Kinda. So I didn't have a lot of supervision. It was just me and my mom. My sister was 6 years older, so and like 5 years, 6th grade or something. I don't know. She left the house when she was 17, and I was like 12. So I spent a long time without her. Anyways, and then, yeah, there's not much else to do. And there's this guy who was like a couple years older than us in grade. He literally looked like he was 40. It was actually concerning how old he looked. It's like, did anyone ever question it? But it's like, who's gonna lie about your age? This isn't like never been kissed. Like, nobody's going back to high school, thank God. Sometimes I do have dreams, though, nightmares, that I have to go back to high school, but it's like I already graduated, mind you, from college, but I'm back on the dance team. I don't know. But this old guy would buy us cigarettes and a bottle of vodka when we were like 14. It's like, I've been there, I've done that. That's it. I'm not like, I feel like I've lived, like, when I don't really need to like drink as much. I am in a martini phase, but I could do one and a half. It's like, I do wish you could order a half when I came back in my martini phase, because like I just don't like hangovers. It's not good for my mental health. You guys have heard me talk about it. I'm like all, and I need to talk about my medications. Anyways, I don't want to get hung. Oh yeah, I'm like, is there 1 shot or 2 shots in the martini? And they're like, are you okay? Have you been around? I'm like, no, I'm a BB. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You guys, there's been a rise in shaming people pleasers, and I'm not having it anymore. Like, so what? I want to make things easier. I don't think it's a sin and something us nice people should be shamed for. Obviously, it's not great for us, but we'll get there. We'll get our boundaries set, but it's not something to feel terrible about. Believe you me, there are worse things. This is obviously something I've been needing to get off my chest, and what I'm taking to therapy each week. Maybe not each week, but last week for sure. You guys know I love therapy. I've tried it all and I've talked to them all. Male, female, woo woo, evidence based. I don't judge. I just like therapy. I just like to feel better and empowered. If therapy is something you've been thinking about trying after listening to me talk ad nauseum about whatever my therapist said last, I do love this new one. Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. And I don't know about you, but if it doesn't involve a phone call, I'm 100% more likely to sign up for said thing. And BetterHelp is designed to be convenient and flexible to work with your schedule, which we love. Hello, we're all busy going from here to there, from this appointment to the next, to this to a meeting. And with BetterHelp, you get matched with a licensed therapist after a questionnaire and can switch without any additional charge. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Wendy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Wendy, WINDEY. Okay. But I think it's the vermouth too. I forget that there's 2 kinds of liqueur. And, but anyways, so I probably started smoking cigs when I was like 14. Surprise. My sophomore year in high school. I went early to school at 7, so I left at 2. I like made up for it in the morning. Barely made it on time. It was history, obviously. They should be teaching this in history class. Like, I want to know about the drama. If politics weren't just like boring, mostly men talking about whatever the fuck, you need like so many degrees probably to understand. Like, if it was if the news was portrayed like a Real Housewives, I would be so in it. Like, because I know there's so many storylines, there has to be so much drama. Like, give it to me like that. The way that they're serving is so dry. But I'm an adult, so I'm really trying. But fuck, how did I get here? Monica Lewinsky. History class. Okay, yeah. So I had a free 7th hour sophomore year of high school. Me and my friend would go home. I lived right by the high school. Rip a heater before I had to be back for dance class. She's bad. No, that's nothing to be proud of. No, this content is not for kids. It happens. It's like there was literally nothing else to do. And so, obviously, get a quick buzz before I was going to shake on the dance floor. But like, and that's a testament to young lungs. Except it probably did wear me out. My cardiovascular is like, it's like, and like I said, it was just me and my mom, and we lived in like, a really old house, and the deck needed to be replaced like, I don't know, 20 to 30 years ago. I was like, I don't even know how we could stand on it because it could have given way at any second. scary stuff. And there was like divots, and the deck was like this at the top, the railing. It was like the wood was splintering. I didn't really know. One, I didn't know that. It just like didn't make sense to me. Sometimes it like still doesn't make sense to me when I'm smoking a joint. That's like the tip of it is like on fire, actually, because I would like set that down on every surface. I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna light up, and then but it would just leave a little. I'm like, grow up. When am I gonna grow up? I'm growing. And so I didn't realize that the tip of this little ciggy could literally light this deck on fire. And in fact, that's what I did. I put it out, and I didn't see it smoking. There was no warning signs that it was going to engulf in flames. I guess I'll also go out on a limb and say, like, I don't totally know how fire works, because it's like ever since then, mind you, especially when I'm high, you get so paranoid that wherever you put it out is going to bust out into flames for no reason. I make sure that it's out, but it's like, who would have thunk? I think it was the perfect storm because you also need a little bit of wind. I am learning a lot about fire. I know I'm like however many years too late. Please give me a break. But it's like people think it's like you blow out a candle, it's like you're going to put out you just blow it out. But actually, wind is fuel to the fire. I don't know if you guys know anything or if I'm just teaching your ass. Oh, but because Robbie has a country house, we won't get too into it. Honestly, it's a touchy subject. But I think it is nice me complaining for no reason, but it's just a lot of work because it's like in the mountains. So she like loves it. It's a place of refuge. She's like, it's like a writer's retreat. But whenever we're up there, I'm like, I don't see my baby ever because my baby's always up in the chimney, on the roof. First of all, not safe. One time, she literally stacked chairs. They weren't even chairs. One was a stool, one was a chair, so she could get to the top of the heater. She's had it for like a year, so I feel like a lot of it is just fixing up. And I'm like, no, I actually don't want to be a part of this because this looks sketchy as fuck. And she's so stubborn. I knew she wasn't going to listen to me. So I was like, if you're going to do that, I'm going to have to go into the other room. What was I going to do? Watch her break an ankle? Her bones are like little tiny bird bones. So feeble, fragile. One wrong move. I mean, you don't even want to know what an ankle break is like. It's really terrible. God, knock on wood. Just kidding. And she was like, I feel like you don't love me. I feel like you don't want to protect me. I'm like, what? No, it's just because you won't listen to me, and I actually do want to protect you. It's quite the opposite. But that's why communication is so important. Also, the other day, she's been traveling so much, like for work. She just obviously for stand up, everyone's like, is she on tour? I'm like, they're kind of always on tour. Like every other weekend or so, she'll go somewhere out of town because that's like where you make the most money. I'm like, damn, I didn't know we were gonna be long distance. But yeah, no, she came back and we were going line dancing, but I hadn't eaten dinner. It's like I don't have a lot on my mind actually. It's pretty loose up there. Just like some air, like lots of space for nothing. But I'm always wondering where I'm going to get my next meal. I can't say it's really like scarcity, but I don't know. I'm just like, I don't like being hungry, and I don't understand how other people aren't planning ahead. Like, okay, if we're meeting around dinner time, anytime between like 5 and 9, there should be some kind of a plan for food involved. And line dancing doesn't have the best food, plus you're not going to want to like eat and then go like, do the grapevine. Like I got to do that when I'm digested and feeling myself. So, and I was like, we were going line dancing. I'm like, oh, have you eaten? She's like, oh, kind of this and that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to order sushi to your place. So I get there. I'm eating sugarfish. Oh, I was craving. I love sugarfish. And Robbie's like feeling funny. I don't know, because we hadn't seen each other for a while. She was like kind of, I like needed a lot of attention because she had been out of town. Something was up. And I like start opening my fish. I'm like pouring the sauces, doing the lemons, squirting in this, the green onion, that. And she's like, pulls down her pants. What about this fish? I'm like, are you actually okay? Like, I know pussy fish jokes, whatever. I'll go on a limb and say, like, I don't like them. Like, I just don't think they're funny. I feel like it's low-hanging fruit. I'm taking it personal. I don't know why. And it's like, mine doesn't smell like fish. And even if it did, that's okay. And that's okay because there's normal flora in your vagina and it's okay to smell. It's always gonna absorb a little of this, like if you're smelly or if not. But also, I have good hygiene. You guys know I'm taking a summer's eve wipe from the front to the back. I'm taking a summer's eve wipe from the front to the way back. So speak for yourself. But I'm like, please put your pussy away. I'm eating sugarfish. And then I was going on to tell her, I'm like, because she's like, I feel like we don't have great words for the vagina. Like men have better words for their dick. And I'm like, I don't know. I could kind of see that, but I actually like pussy cunt. I feel like we're turning it around like it is. We are serving it and it's like a real thing, which I appreciate. But it's like there's this word that means like words over time adopt a negative connotation. They're negatively connotated. And normally it's female words. Bitch, for example, whatever. So like I can understand why people think that we don't have the greatest words for, like, vagina is kind of like, I guess doesn't roll off the tongue, but does penis. Well, look at your penis. I don't know. So I was just going on. It's like, you know what? Like, it's like, I don't know, whatever. I'm just going to tell. We were like talking and she was in the drunk drawer, kind of like, maybe like 10 to 15 feet away. And while she was looking in the drawer, she's like, I just wish I cared more. What? I'm like, some things you shouldn't say out loud. And that's it. We can think things like that, but it's like, she obviously needed some kind of attention because she was down bad because I didn't like her pussy joke. It didn't land and she takes it really personally. So then she was backfiring on me like, I just wish I cared. I'm like, okay. Obviously you need to like work through things. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. Okay, yeah, I just got back from New York. Ugh. And guess who's asked in a motherfucking show? Dead to Me, which we can't say this was a surprise because it really wasn't. I don't even want to say her name because I don't want to give her free press. But it's very close to like Larilyn Lalloway. It's like, I was actually surprised to see the amount of like podcasts and stuff she had been on before. Like, I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was like definitely here or there. And it's like, I know she's sketchy as fuck and unhinged, and that's why I wanted her on, because I did have some genuine questions to ask her. This is why I couldn't say I didn't expect it. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. She literally blocked me. Like we had these plans for like a month. And I'm like, whatever, we're back and forth, me and Robbie, for work from New York all the time. So I'm like, it's fine. Do the points, do the this. Like, it'll be good. I just want to know genuinely where she gets the audacity because I'm afraid of every little consequence. And who is on her Rushmore? That's it. I'm thinking Ilaria Baldwin. I'm thinking Rachel Dolezal. I'm thinking the guy from Firefest. I forget his name. You know, and then her. It's like, but what would she say? Because she probably thinks she's like leaps and bounds better than these people. I'm like, someone say they're your icons. But yeah, we had these plans for like a month. I checked in multiple times. I'm like, we have a studio locked in. What time works for you? She's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, perfect, blah, blah, blah. Night before, see you there. Day of, even the day of, well, she texted me, was like kind of like running late. And then the studio wanted to push the time back a little bit, and she took that as an out. And I'm like, if this bitch is gonna bail, she's gonna bail. What am I gonna do? She's like, can we do it tomorrow? And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Didn't hear from her after. I was like, does that work? Eyes emoji, nothing. And then I went to text her the next morning. First of all, it's giving toxic, like toxic boyfriend. Just tell me. Like, you have so much, you're not going to pay your rent for 6 months, but you can't tell me you don't want to do a podcast. Like, where the audacity isn't audacing. It's not crossing over, really. It's like, if you're going to live this life, like, you know, I don't know. So I went to my text go green. I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I've ever been blocked. I'm sure I have. I know one person in particular who blocked my ass, but it was literally because he should have, it was like his way of blocking himself because he's so desperate, obsessed with me. Anyways, she blocked my ass. And then I made a TikTok about it. And then she texted me like all this crazy shit. I'm like, you know what? It's okay. But anyways, that's why I was in New York. And you know what? I had a nice time. I had some friends. We got $3 dumplings. That is the thing about New York, is you can find some cheap ass food. You cannot do that in LA. And the line was out the door. Mind you, the dumplings were so good. $3, no tax. Oh, God. It's like, honestly, not a lot of things make me more happier than that. And you just like walked around the corner and there it was. And then I just did a little bit of shopping. There's some cute vintage stores. The weather was nice finally. And then I was like, I got a little high. Obviously, I like to like shop when I'm high, even though I'm like doubly socially awkward. Sue me, I don't love talking to strangers. Like, who's gonna crack first? Not me. Not because I'm unfriendly, because I really don't think so. It's like, if there's something to talk about, obviously we're gonna talk. But it's like, there's probably not much to say, and genuinely, I just can't be bothered. So I like to get a little high when I go shopping. It's fun. It's like a real treasure hunt. It's like, ooh, getting so excited. What am I gonna find next? But then some of like the retail workers, they think they're better than you, I think, because they're working at like a vintage shop, which, like, yeah, you have great taste, but baby, you can't afford a lot of this either. Because the owner is not working here. We know. I've worked it all, you guys. I've worked retail. I worked at a tanning salon. I'm like, ugh, that did get shot up. Thank God I wasn't there. I would go literally so hungover from college. I'd take naps on the floor and then pop up when I had a customer reeking of booze. But I had to make $1. I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings, literally fielded calls from jail because all the cooks were on work release. I'm like, yeah, they're here. Yeah, they're here. Yep, they're cooking. I worked at a Thai restaurant, which I loved. I worked in laser hair removal. You guys, I've done it all. So it's like, I know where, we're coming from. Like, I am not the enemy, but somehow I feel like I'm being treated as such. So I went into the store and it was like all comme des garçons, comme des garçons, comme des garçons, comme des garçons. And it's like, I have big beef anyways because your brand starts with come. Please, please don't. Just don't. That gets under my skin and automatically sounds sexual. Like, you just have to stay away from it. It's probably been around longer than the word come, but has it? And they only had like the craziest stuff. Like, there, I need to learn how to like insert images into the pod. I will get help one day because I like, you guys know what I'm talking about. I want you to be able to see like the screen or what I'm thinking because I'm sure I could Google it. It looked like Britney Spears' toxic red suit, but way worse. Because it was a dress. It was like a long dress in that patent red leather. I forget. Oh yeah, patent is the shiny one. Bright red. I'm like, who the fuck is gonna wear this? This is so crazy. And they had like a Superman shirt with pillows. And I get it. It's like, that's a thing, like whatever. I was like, wow, you have some funky stuff in here. And he was like, that's what we like. And I'm like, okay. You're not wearing any of this. You're not in the Britney Spears. You look normal. So like, I don't know, practice what you preach, kinda. Like, either put this shit on if you're gonna say that's what you like, or just level with me. Be like, I know, blah 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 has some crazy shit. It is like fun, but we have some other stuff here. Like, kind of just like treat me like a person. Like, I can't be the only one who have had these thoughts. Let me take a break. So I did like a little Q&A on my Instagram, and somebody was like, "Will you talk more about your coming out journey?" Which, like, I feel like I'm not trying to beat it, to a pulp. Like, but I understand. I feel like I'm getting kind of like a new audience and stuff, just like having the podcast and being queer and stuff. So maybe like whatever. I get it, but I was like, okay, yeah. And Robbie and I have been dating for a year now. So it's like, I was on The View, and then I was on whatever, Bethany with the B, but I know like a lot of people. So, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's a very specific thing to ask. And like, I did answer it once, and I was like, oh, listen to my podcast. Because I feel like it comes out like in doses. It's hard. And it's like, I feel like I'm still coming out. Like, each day I find out something more about being out. It's like, it doesn't, you just don't poof. And because I'm like a little later to it, I feel like I have a lot of catching up to do. But I was like, damn, this kind of feels exploitative. But I think honestly, I know people are coming at it from like a genuine place. They don't want it to be exploitative, whatever. So I get it, but yeah, at first I was like, what the fuck? And now I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was just like a little bit of my shame talking, because it's like, and I talk about Robbie all the time, and like genuinely now it is, I feel like it does ring true. Like, when you meet someone who's gay and you're like, when did you know? Or when did you come out? It's like, I don't know, but it's not even like whatever. It just like feels like you're dating. But to me, it's been like the best dating I've ever had. So, and it's probably I don't even know if it was because I was dating the wrong gender, but it's just like I wasn't connecting the same. And now I know that in retrospect, which is like, that's why it's like hard to kind of answer, because I feel like you're still figuring out stuff. But then I'm like, was it my shame getting in the way that I took it so personal? That's like, I felt like it was, and it's like, it does have to be, I do want it to be on my time. But then I feel like I had a sexual awakening. I watched Bottoms on the plane, which it came out like a year ago, and I was getting it confused with like another movie. But it was actually so cute and funny, and it's like a coming of age for lesbians, which I don't, and it was like big names like Io, Rachel Sennett, Kaya Gerber, And Io's love interest is like gorgeous, cute. Like it literally was like Mean Girls, but for lesbians. And I was like, oh my God, I just like felt myself filling up because I think that's also another problem is like, I don't know what the fuck is going on because like, I don't really see representation of it. And we all talk about this and you just don't ever know how important it is until it happens to you. And that sounds like so privileged. I get it. But now I can kind of really relate. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's actually like so cute and it like makes me proud and like want to be gay. Cuz it was like such a fun movie and it was like sick ass girls. It's like there's still so much like shame in society and internalized homophobia and I'm sick of it. I'm so done with it, but I know it's like still a journey. Um but yeah, I was dying cuz like the premise was like so dumb, but it was funny. It was like for whatever. And I feel like I have kind of a large straight audience from Bachelor. Luvia. Luvia. Um I think the queers are trickling in. Luvia too. Me and Bobby always like Luvia. So now I Luvia. You all listen, the yous, you guys. I was like, oh yeah. So it's like they start this club in high school that's like self-defense club, but then they just like beat the shit out of each other. Which is actually so dumb of a concept, but it was like so funny because how far they took it. There was like, I mean, the makeup was insane. I would say like the effects team, like the makeup is, I don't know if special effects or what, but it was so good. Everybody always had like a broken nose, like a bloody nose, and these girls were just like these hot, cute girls were just beating the shit out of each other, which I know sounds like sexualizing and stuff, but I feel like it does go back to like, you know, like men in the locker room, they're like slapping each other's ass, they're like tackling each other, and they're wrestling. It's like just say you're gay, just say it. You want to bump bellies with your teammate. Like, that's what you're doing. This is just an excuse wrestling in those tight ass outfits. Like, please come on. Um, and I'm like, maybe this is like a gay thing because I always think it's so funny to make jokes like, let's beat her up. It's probably not going to sound funny to you. I don't know. But, um, I guess I can relate. And maybe it's like a gay girl like thing, like we're always thinking, because I'm like, oh my God, this is actually hilarious. Because, you know, I was a cheerleader. And like, no, I'm not creepy. I feel like, you know, it's like when people, like, they're like, oh, were you attracted to me? And it's like, no, you wish. You literally wish. But one of our friends, she has like two buttholes. You guys know probably. Everyone's got a friend that it's like it was spina bifida in the womb, but then it closed. Thank God. So it's like it's a little dimple. It doesn't actually lead anywhere, but on the very surface it looks like there's two buttholes. And we'd be like, "Show us. Take off your pants." Dumb. Obviously, but it's like I just thought it was so funny. Um, so I just watched that yesterday. So it's like I feel like I'm literally actively still coming out and still being comfortable with it because even like sometimes I get nervous to say girlfriend like when I'm not with Robbie. I need to get back in therapy is the thing. My meds are working, thank God. I think I just completely went on a tangent about the meds and got here. Now we're circling back. Um, um, I'm always trying a new one. My friend's like, it's like my hobby. It's like going to the spa, trying new meds. Because really, I had a really hard time finding one that worked for me. I responded bad to SSRIs. I had no idea. But I would obviously, it's like you can't afford a psychiatrist. Another problem in our society with mental health is that they're just like so expensive. So you don't have the resources. But if you have insurance, I highly recommend it. I always think I know everything working in healthcare, so I would just go to my PCP and like give me some Zoloft, bitch. Give me some Lexi, bitch. Um, Give me some Prozac, bitch. But it just never worked for me. And by never worked, I would like always respond really fast, or it just made me severely anxious, or I would get a lot of the anhedonia, which is like you feel numb, like nothing was funny. Criminal. Literally just kill me. Literally kill me if I can't laugh. Like, yeah, I wasn't as like depressed or anxious, but like just numb. And I'm like, this can't be right. Like, everybody is like blah 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 doing fine, whatever. I've been seeing my psychiatrist a year. It took me time. She's like, okay, you seem to, well, when I respond so fast to SSRIs, they're like, normally it takes 3 months, me within a day. I'm like, ew, something's different. I feel my brain all buzzing around, buzzy, buzzy, buzzy. But it's like it's supposed to take much longer to do the neurotransmitters and stuff. So I guess that's a sign. And then I tried this one medication, Celexa. It made me batshit, like Sybil. Like I would flip on a dime. I mean, you should ask Robbie. Honestly, bless her. I'm like, it wasn't that bad, but of course that was not just me. That's one side. And Robbie's like so patient. We've been really open with each other about like our mental health and stuff, as you like need to in a relationship. But it would make me irritable, like literally flip. In London, she told me I couldn't use the hair dryer. We were down to one adapter for the outlets because I had lost one. I brought two thinking that all of Europe was the same, but the UK has to be different. I'm like, can you guys not? Like, they're the only one who drives on the wrong side of the road too. It's like you guys really have a complex. They are giving Texas. They like don't want to be a part of anything. Like they think like whatever. So we only had one adapter, and I wanted to blow dry my bangs for literally 5 seconds. And she thinks she's being funny and like scream no. And oof. Oh God. I flipped a lid. Pointing at her. Because I'm taller than her, I was scaring myself. Oh, this is wrong, and I'm gonna blow dry my fucking hair, and you're gonna meet me in the lobby, and I'm sick of this, and I'm done. But it felt very real in the moment, and then I would kind of like swing the other way, like I took an edible at the spa, and I literally thought I was hypomanic. Those two things together can make you feel euphoric as fuck, but which like it's like I know just enough to be dangerous with like I literally learned this in nursing school. Who the fuck knows if it's like real accurate, but it's like mania, which is feelings of grandeur. I know you guys are surprised at how smart I am, and I can't help it. Feelings of grandeur. You like spend a lot of money. Yeah, you feel like there's no consequences. Your mind is like racing. You're like not sleeping. Your mind's racing a million miles a minute. And my mind was racing. I wasn't spending like I don't regret, like it didn't like put me in debt or anything. But like I did feel like I had less of like a thinking twice. Like I would just like spend instead of being like, I probably don't need that actually. And so I was like, that was like my first clue kind of into it. So then my psychiatrist was like, okay, let's try a mood stabilizer. You guys, I feel great. I've never felt more like myself. I'm sleeping with white noise. It's like, it doesn't even feel like I'm on a medication on an SSRI. I did always kind of feel off. Like I just wasn't totally myself, or I was different. Sometimes for the better, but also it's just like an odd feeling. Anyways, I forget how we got here. Okay, well. Oh, I think I was talking about my sexuality. Oh, I'm wanting to get back in. Oh, yeah, okay. Because I do want to get back in therapy. We've been in couples, and like, news to me, I have shame around sex. And this is like oh, so it's like months ago, when I basically said out loud that I like to be objectified. What? I'm like, it was just all I knew because I was having like a emotion sex, which is like a as in non, like not, like it was just not emotional. It was like in the beginning when it was like hot and exciting and you guys are horny and like whatever. I'm like, that was always my favorite kind of sex. I want to be tossed around like a rag doll and the this and the that and like whatever. And my therapist was like, red flag, ding, 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 ding. It's like, it sounds like you have shame. I'm like, well, I just told you that I like to enjoy it. But it's like, obviously, there's dysfunction in that. In the beginning, Robbie's always like, first of all, you guys, Robbie's so wise. She's like, you have nothing to talk about, so all you're doing is fucking. And I'm like, oh, that's actually so real because you don't really know the person, but like, you know, you're horny as fuck and you like them. So then you just like have sex because it's actually kind of awkward still to talk. Like, it takes a while to get to the point where you're like comfortable with each other. So whatever. And like, yeah, Robbie and I were like hot and heavy on the couch. I had this gray couch that I came from Denver with from American Furniture Warehouse. Shout out. It was so comfy. It was just kind of crazy looking. It was like big, bulky, but it was wide. It was so wide and deep. That couch saw so much action. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace to a creep. Ugh, now that I'm thinking about it, it makes me sick. But yeah, then you get into the kind of the middle of relationship and it like falls off. And you're like, I don't know, it's still kind of like not even uncomfortable, but it feels like new and it's like normal for whatever things to like feel awkward. Like, I feel like with men, I was never really comfortable with saying what I wanted because I thought the goal was just to like get them off or like it's fine. And luckily I'm a two pump chump too, so I never knew any different. But now I know that it's like my foreplay is feeling seen. Sue me, lawyer up. Put me in the cuffs, whatever. And I'll go out on a limb and say that maybe if men let it in, they'd feel that way too. But they've done this themselves. They're also so down bad from their own doing from the patriarchy. So until they can figure their own shit out. But it's like, you want to feel safe in your relationship. You want to feel connected. It's like when we're traveling, like distance make the heart grow fonder. Robbie was in New York for like 2 weeks. I was like, I'm literally going to die. But it's easy. I feel like she's just so present and she has a ton of like comedian friends in New York because she's like, whatever, been in the biz for so long. So it's like she can get swept away and she's like, no, you don't understand. Like, at first when it actually breaks my heart. No, you guys, I'm going to cry. Making myself cry because our 1 year is coming up and I'm about to start my period. Oh my God. This is embarrassing. Maybe my meds aren't working. But she was like, when I used to travel for work so much, I was so homesick, like so lonely. So I have to fill my time with people. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so devastating. Because it really is the worst feeling in the world. But we both have jobs where we need to travel. So it's honestly a blessing. But yeah, sometimes when she's gone for so long, it's like hard because she likes to be home too. So, because sometimes she's just not calling enough for me. It's like I could talk all day on the phone, every day, every hour, on the hour. Give me 5. Hey, baby, what's new? Just watching YouTubes on Yakutia? You cooch? Okay, baby, how's it there today? That's this town in Russia that like she loves to watch YouTubes on because they're so cold. Hey, baby, what's new? What'd you have for lunch? Like, I just want to know it all. She doesn't love talking on the phone whenever we go. And she's like, okay, that's all for me. Like, immediately trying to get off. I'm like, no, please stay. But it just makes me laugh so hard. But it's like, okay, how do we make distance better? It's about communication. And I'm like, I could use some more check-ins. And like, I'll call her and stuff, but obviously I don't know her schedule. Like, if she's busy, I'm like, okay, call me once in the morning, once at night. And hopefully a little texty in between. Um, and she was gone for 2 weeks. It was a long time for us, but she was so good about checking in. And that shit made me horny. That's and that made me horny. Like, it's literally all it is. When it's like, I know that she loves me and she cares. All she wants to do is have a great relationship with me and like be closer. And then she was home for like 3 days. And we had sex 2 of the nights out of 3. And that's a lot for lesbians because you guys don't even want to know the admin. Maybe we can get into it one day, but it's like, but you know what also helps me is like, I take a long time to warm up to like feel comfortable. So she'll give me a massage. We have this great massage oil. It's like CBD cocoa. Robbie took me to the Beverly Hills Hotel for my birthday. You guys, I know. She's literally the best. You guys have to get yourself one. And I got a massage. Erica McKenna like gave me money to buy a massage for my birthday, and I did, and I still have the oil. And so Robbie's like, oh, to like warm me up if she's feeling freaky, she'll be like, do you want a massage? And I'm like, you know what, I do. And she doesn't mind, and she doesn't care, and she likes it. And it's like so cute. She's like sitting on my back, and she'll be like, and this, and I like this, oof, and this is, and she just like showers me with compliments, and like it turns me the fuck on. So that's it. But I feel like it's just not so different. Like, I understand, yes, because we haven't seen it a lot in society. Everyone, please go watch Bottoms. It was so good. But and it like made me feel normal that you're like afraid to talk about, but really it honestly it feels no different. It feels better. That's what everyone says. I'm not saying anything new. I honestly just feel more connected. And it's like, yeah, I got really lucky with her because we met in such a kismet way. We met outside of a bar, and then it was just like two souls like doing, like kindred. Kindred? I don't know. Spirits. So there has been like a lot of luck. Like, I understand that I was like, okay, wanting to like quote unquote explore my sexuality. my sexuality. I was exploring my sexuality, and then I met the love of my life. It's like, if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And there's a lot of luck in that. Okay, so I had a crazy experience at the doctor's office, which is like no further validating why people hate going to the doctor. It's like, no wonder, because it's weird as fuck. And it's cold and it's like sterile, and they're asking you all these questions about like your meds and shit. It's like, bitch, you need to tell me a little bit about yourself before I tell you my journey with meds and my mood stabilizer, please. You have to earn some of this. What are you going to tell me? You look like you've been through some shit. You look like you're about 80 years old. Some may say you should, who am I to say when people should retire? But some, not me, some may say you should retire. So I know you've seen some shit, so give it to me. What meds are you on? Synthroid looking ass. No shade, literally everyone's on Synthroid. But it's like, this is why people don't feel comfortable going to the doctor. And then I led, like, normally I'll lie about how much I drink and smoke because, like, who cares? But there was a line. It was like, blank, how many blanks, cigarettes / marijuana / tobaccos do you smoke? I'm like, I need to lead with this on my intake because once they get a glimpse of my personality, it's just going to make more sense. Like, I don't want any questions. I don't want anyone wondering why I am the way I am. So it was like, how many blank cigarettes / marijuana / tobacco? And I was like, 5. And I circled marijuana. 5 marijuanas per week. You asked. You put yourself in this position. I was really wishing you wouldn't have asked. I don't want to talk about my consumption of anything with anyone. It's nobody. You tell me what your guilty pleasures are, ma'am. It could be anything. You've lived through the 80s. Ugh, it could be anything. 5 marijuanas per week. Do what you want with that. What was I thinking? I don't know. Definitely not 5 puffs per week. 5 to 500 maybe. I'm just kidding. Okay. But now TikTok is feeding me stuff like, oh, is your tolerance high and you're getting this kind of syndrome? I'm like, please, I'm just constipated. Because I was taking a Benadryl for 2 weeks straight instead of listening to brown noise. Who would have thunk? Please leave me alone. I don't have that. I smoke like every night socially in the morning. No, I'm just kidding. Not in the morning because I am like I do have a little bit too many thoughts going around in the brain. It doesn't, so I can't like suss it out as fast. It does just like slow me down a little bit. So I'm not like I'm obviously functioning, but it's like, it's when I want to indulge. It's mostly after dark, unless I'm like going on a hike or going shopping with Robbie. That's my favorite. Okay. I think that's it for me on Long-Winded. Thank you for coming. It literally means the whole world. You have no idea. And if I find out you haven't given me 5 stars, subscribed, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm looking at you. Please, I'm begging. Okay. Next time on Long-Winded. Next time on Long-Winded. I don't know.